You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Oh, hey.
Perfect
Here
timing.
we are here.
You were able to hold the cough in during the silence.
Here we go.
We say a little prayer before every episode. Craig jokes and tells guests that, but the reality is, I just wrote episode 2,929.
All right.
It's actually just episode 292, but we'll take it. Here we are. Let's play on our phones for a little bit.
Okay. I haven't been coughing.
Till it came
Till
time
here
to
we
record,
are.
right?
Now I'm just gonna have to come over here. Hey, what's
Good evening, Stephanie.
Good evening. Wait, good morning, good evening, and good night. That's what I heard. Okay.
Right? Good old Truman Show.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you?
Other than, here we go with the surprise cough, making sure my ringer, because I did not have it off. There we go. I am good.
Yeah, we cleared up our illness from February just in time for allergy season.
Right? We got this.
Right?
We're on episode 2000 something, so.
I know. Can you imagine? I'm so excited.
I can imagine. I'm excited for that too.
How cool is that going to be?
I'm excited.
Should we give away? I mean, we're giving away the tapestry. So
Should we give away a car on that
giveaways.
episode? I feel like we might be able to give a car away at that point.
You get a car.
You get a car.
You get a car.
How cool.
Should we give away the plan for episode 300? Or should we leave them in
No,
suspense?
because I'm still like sitting with that.
It's such a good idea.
It is
isn't
such a good idea.
I think we're going to do it. I think we should do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should give it away. I think it should just be a surprise.
We'll see if they even notice. Maybe there's no like difference.
I'm pretty sure they're going to notice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I got pain.
That's going to be pretty obvious. Do I have
Is it?
boogers?
Not that I see.
Okay.
I think you're good.
Good. Growing up, I had a friend. I had many friends growing up.
Jesus.
One of their
Us.
names was Kelly. Shout out to Kelly. Super good buddy of mine from basically dawn of time. But I used to make him check, like, that was always like, real quick.
Guys do that?
Oh, yeah, of course. Can't go into a situation where you got some snot rockets hanging out.
Really?
Yeah. So Kelly was my booger checker, and I checked his.
Did not know that guys check that.
It was a concern for sure.
No, I'm not judging. I'm surprised. Girls also. But we had to take it a step further. So not only did we check for some boogers
I know you've told me this before.
or for some like food in the teeth,
Right.
but when you are menstruating, you're like, am I good? You check your friend's ass to make sure there's no
check.
blood splat going
You gotta check
on.
your 6.
Yep. They're like, good. You walk by just like nothing and they check your ass and you turn to look and you're good.
Right.
Yeah. Or they come like keep up by you like you're good. Still do that.
Yeah.
Still do that. Stevie and I have backed each other up on that too. You good? You good? We're good?
I'll back you up on that, baby.
Yeah?
I'll check your 6 if you ever need it.
How would I?
I'm your check sixer, or I'm your
You
6
are.
checker.
You are. But
Whatever.
I
that is,
just
right?
like froze on the thought of asking my husband, like, hey, do you see any blood splatter?
Baby,
Like,
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I'm aware of your period.
I know, but like,
I know that every month
you don't understand.
you have an egg inside of your body that comes down the fallopian tubes
Let me explain.
and resonates in your
Let me
uterus, tearing
explain.
your body apart
Let me
for several
explain.
days.
You are an enlightened man, and it's beautiful. Not only is it from social embarrassment that we need that like extra bit of protection, but it is like, so your love interest, you don't embarrass yourself in front of your love interest.
Right?
Yeah. So that's like going up to your and being like, hey, did you feel this heat come from this undercarriage? Like, yeah, how do you be like,
I just
like,
asked you to look and see if I had boogers in my nose.
You did. You know what?
Right?
Let me sit with that.
If you need it, it's a service that I offer.
How about this? Do you look at my butt often when we're out and about?
I feel like this is a trick question, men. Anybody else? I look at your butt on the regular.
Okay. So how about you just be like, oh God, You know what you do is you come up behind me. I've done this. You come up from behind with a hug and be like, we're going this way. And they know as soon as they get that hug, they're like, yes, we are.
Okay.
You know, so you're like, boom.
That's
You
the
put
woman
yourself,
code?
you're a body shield. You hide them with your body and you do redirect traffic. So it looks like you're just like,
Taking one for the team.
here we go. Well, it doesn't even look like anything other than you're going to go have a girl conversation.
Right.
Yeah. And you're like being a body shield.
You know
Women are always like a body shield for other women.
You know how guys would do it?
They'd probably laugh and point.
They would.
Oh,
we
God,
would just shame the hell out of each other.
So if you had a booger, then like it would just be like, oh, yeah, you do. And like jar.
Because Kelly's a good guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Not all men are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're like, when I say we, sometimes men are like that.
Yeah.
Not all the time. Yeah. But yeah, I would totally take one for the team, and I'll come up and hug you if I need to, babe.
Yep.
I'll keep an
I'm
eye
just
out.
gonna like, we're going this way.
And then
Like,
if you ever
yes, we
need
are.
clarification, you just let me know.
You're like, she's like, no, I gotta go over here. You're like, you got blood splatter. I keep calling it blood splatter because I'm trying to like make it sound. I don't know.
Sound
For
like
some
what?
reason, it's like I'm kind of taking the power of it.
Oh, okay.
And so instead of being like, you're leaking, your woman fluids are coming out, all the things, because somehow blood is fine, but period blood is disgusting.
I don't think it is.
I'm not saying it. That's like the mentality.
Yeah.
That's not my declaration. I'm like, oh, this is fine, but period blood is disgusting. That's what it is. I'm like, you cut your arm.
How come you're ashamed of it then?
Because that's the mentality that I was raised in.
Yeah.
It's like shameful, secretive, sinner. Like, you need to be ashamed. Like, I remember being taught, like, if you wouldn't have ate that apple, we wouldn't be like, it's just this, you were taught it's biblical sin.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true, huh?
it is like, so how come I'm ashamed of it?
Unclean.
Yeah, it is like you are dirty. It's all of that. And oh my gosh, any poor girl that had a leak in high school, the guys were terrible. Terrible. You had to hide. Like I hope it's different. I don't really know that it is, but I'm pretty sure high school girls aren't walking around with, you know, tampons, pads, cups, whatever they're going to use, and just being like, you know, I would love that. I want to high five every girl that has that, but they're just like, it is such an ingrained dirty thing, even though it's actually quite beautiful.
Well, it's literally why we're all here.
Right? It is creating life, and they shame you. Like, how dare you be able to create this massive, what am I doing?
Chapstick.
So anyways, so that's why I'm like trying to make it less from like blood splatter, then it's cool. It's like,
I think it's a beautiful, sacred thing
It
that
is.
should be honored and respected.
also, it really fucking hurts.
Right.
So we could get a little more love for that, because it is massively painful.
Yeah.
Massively painful. I'm a lucky one, and I do get periods that are not painful. Now that's not saying I don't have painful periods. No. I get both ends of the spectrum. I have some really, really, really bad ones. But I know that there are women that never get a fucking break.
Just always
That
painful.
never get a break.
Terrible
And
periods every month.
Yeah. So I definitely get to say I am a lucky one, because I do get ones that are just like, and it doesn't mean like there's no cramps. It's just when you get the cramps that are, I can sit here and fine, we're talking through, and yeah, they're there, but you know, not all cramps are created equal. There are some massive. Do you want to keep talking about my period? I'll
If
keep
you
talking
want.
about my period. Oh,
I'm totally fine with that. Yeah.
I got that.
What?
I'm sitting here going off thinking like this is like an opportunity to be heard, and you're like, if you want.
Oh, baby.
Aw.
What did you want me to say?
I wanted you to say yes because you're interested, because like it deserves attention and it deserves to be spoken about. Not like,
So you
sure, keep going.
Would you like to know what I heard?
Yes.
Because your interpretation of what I just said
Yeah.
totally isn't what I meant.
I definitely heard that. So I would, what is the truth? What did you mean?
What I heard was you asking, I interpreted it as you felt uncomfortable, and I was giving you an out if you wanted to take it.
Oh.
That it was like, I'm totally fine. We can do an entire, 3 seasons of talking about period. There's a lot there. But I felt like you might be uncomfortable. And so if you were, of course, if you want to keep talking about it, but also if you don't, because maybe you're feeling a little uncomfortable, then we can shift. But that's where I was coming from, was giving you an out if you needed it. But if you totally want to keep talking about it, then absolutely. Because you're right. It's an important thing.
It is an important thing. Since you explained what you actually heard,
Mm-hmm.
it like enlightened me to what I was actually asking.
What were you asking?
I was saying, I'm uncomfortable. Let me know it's okay to hold the spotlight here. Let me know it's okay to talk about this, and that I'm not like give me essentially, okay, candle's starting to take off. Give me permission to sit here and speak about, like, I didn't realize I was doing that.
How funny is it that you were telling me I'm uncomfortable,
and you heard
I got that message.
She's uncomfortable.
And then I figured, okay, does that mean she wants a way out of this? I'll give her a way out. And then I respond. I didn't get the part where you're like, give me permission to continue.
I didn't say that. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing. I didn't even realize that till you were like, okay, so I'm supposed to read your mind here. God damn it, I got it wrong.
Right.
I'm like, whoa. I didn't realize I was asking you to read my mind. Thank you for that awareness.
We're doing really good.
You had to get, that was a 2-part question basically, or a 2-part thing, and you got half of it right. Mind reader.
Nailed
That's a hell of a score.
What can I say?
Yeah, that was awesome.
I'll take 50-50. Like, if I'm shooting 50% half the time, that's a win-win for me.
From like, yeah, you did good. You did.
I'm really good at interpreting.
Is that why you wore red today? Is this the red episode?
Maybe we just talk all about your period, or periods in general.
Right?
The menstruation. We have
How many guys just were like, fuck that, and just like turn this off?
It turns out
right?
I think a lot of women listen to our podcast.
Thank you, ladies.
Turns out if we probably polled, our demographic is probably a lot of women.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know there's obviously men that listen.
Are they listening right now?
I assume so.
Or do you think they're like, fuck this?
See, the whole thing is why, right? Especially,
if you're a man and you've hung on this long, please, I want to know. Like,
but see, look at what you're doing.
What am I doing?
I'm not judging, right? This isn't a judgment at all.
I was excited. I wanted to celebrate.
But this insinuation that, like, you're perpetuating the cycle of how we're shaming periods and shaming women for periods. Like, if you're a man, I'm surprised you're even hanging in there still, because we're talking about
I don't think I'm
periods.
shaming women for that. I think I was shaming men.
But that's the cycle.
Yeah.
Where this is like,
I shouldn't have.
Men would never listen to this episode.
Prove me wrong. Enlighten me.
I'm literally sitting in front of you having this
You're
conversation.
held like hostage, basically. You're the co-host. You can't be like, periods, I'm out, and then leave. You gotta sit in
You
this.
gotta remember, I'm the editor too.
Yeah.
So.
You're like, I don't know what happened. This episode didn't make it.
Yeah, it was really weird, babe. Some technical difficulties downstairs trying to edit this last week, and didn't make air. It's weird. No. It's interesting. I don't think we really understand it, meaning you and I either, right?
And understand what?
Because there's the physiological aspect of it. Obviously, your body does this thing, right? But I know that there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
There's a spiritual aspect to it, and there's so many different things about it that we actually get to learn about.
It's quite.
So, did you know that we get to learn about it?
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes. Are you?
So excited.
Also, there's going to be a lot of this information. I mean, I don't want to like.
Maybe we're just doing a prelude to an episode next week where we dive deep into. I have
some insider knowledge.
Right?
So, like, I love you, but I do have some insider knowledge.
I am wearing red.
You are wearing red.
That kind of makes me...
you are definitely the...
settle in, folks.
What is it? The expert here.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to mansplain menstrual cycles. So every 28 days... women's bodies do things.
Yeah. Are you confident in that 28?
No. I failed immediately right off the bat. What is it, 30, 60? I don't know. How frequently do these things happen?
Well, if you happen to be regular and so incredibly regular that you have your cycle is on the dot, like that's pretty cool. But there's some
typically 30 days or 28 days or
it's you can say 27, 28 is like the like the average, or not even the average, or like kind of like in theory, like everything's going fine. There's no hiccups in the system. There is like, I'm trying to figure, that is a lucky, if you can track it like that, that is a lucky. And not all women have that. And just like that thing that is, oh my gosh, I'm nervous and I'm having a hard time speaking. It is an assumption that it is easily that predictable, that all women just have like this set of time. It's that predictable. Like, what, you're surprised, you know when it's going to come. It's like, it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
It definitely has, like, sometimes it's early, sometimes it's late, sometimes you have it right on the dot. And that's if, you know, I'm talking about not having birth control that is chemically engineering your body to
cycle on a regular basis
and to prevent you from getting pregnant. And but if you're not, what?
Continue.
It's a lot harder than that.
I was I'm getting, I don't know if the topic's making me uncomfortable or what is.
Yeah. Is it, maybe I'm just like, because I'm like over here, all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like I'm getting chest pain.
I'm adjusting.
Like it's really hurting.
I remember, I don't remember how old I was or whatever, right? But I remember at some point in my life, I learned that you could not get it. Like sometimes athletes or, do you know what I mean? Women that do like marathon runners or something, that they're super gymnasts. Also
really unhealthy eating disorders when they are trying to fit a standard and they have, so there's lots of ways. There's healthy and.
Yeah. That's kind of a big shock and surprise to me. I didn't realize that somehow you could not get it.
Yeah.
What do you think happens to that egg?
What do I think happens to that egg?
Like in that situation, when
stays there.
Does it? Or does it somehow?
Well, if it's not being released, it's no. Okay, let me think that. No, you're asking a great question. My understanding is that when you're not having your period, when you're not cycling, when your body is not releasing the egg, that it stays there until you start to cycle again. And then the egg is released from the ovary, comes down through the fallopian tube into the uterus, where it waits for fertilization.
Yeah, but maybe it doesn't, like maybe what happens is the egg still travels, but because your body is so depleted of nutrients, then the uterus and the lining and all of that doesn't take place.
So the egg just like falls out?
Yeah. So maybe the egg still travels. It just doesn't land in the sweet spot and hang out for a while.
I don't think it's quite like a kidney stone that it just kind of like pops out. I mean, I could be wrong. Well, I don't think that's accurate,
microscopic,
though.
Right?
Yeah.
So you could...
I could be wrong. I don't believe that's what's happening, though. I believe...
Baby, I'm a man.
My belief is that my belief is that it stays in the ovary and it doesn't get released. I used to think babies were
born out of butts, so...
Yeah. Well, it can definitely tear to your asshole, so...
See, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Yeah, women go through, that was you just learned that right here?
No, I learned that when Maddie was born.
Oh, yeah. Babies, man. Beautiful babies they just, all kinds of things go down.
All sorts of wonderful stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you still have all the space in the world to continue this conversation.
I don't want to anymore. I am definitely like...
You good to transition?
I just feel really uncomfortable. Like I feel stupid. I feel kind of like... I feel very small right now. I just feel very small. And I don't want to like keep trying to be like, oh, this is like, it just doesn't feel, no, I want to be able to, but I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel like a space where that's welcome. And I don't want to sit here and have you, not that you're doing this, it just kind of feels like, this feels false. Kind of, you know,
like we're forcing this conversation.
Yeah, like I'll have this Oh man, I'm on the spot now. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel I don't know how to say what I feel without making you feel bad and pointing this and be like, this is why. Kind of just feels unsupported here, and like you're so nice and you
You know what
I feel like you're kind of making fun of me a little bit, like kind of being condescending here. I'm like, I don't want to sit here and have this conversation with you because I feel.
Do you know what I am doing?
I don't. What?
I am definitely joking.
Okay.
In an effort to try to make it feel lighter.
Oh.
Because once again, I feel like you're very uncomfortable. So
quit trying to help me from that.
I know, right?
Right.
Here we are, cycle pattern repeating, literally in the span of 10 minutes, right?
Right.
If this is something that you want to talk about,
maybe another time when I feel like the joking, like,
yeah, I don't need to joke about it.
I'd rather, yeah.
I was only doing that in an effort to try to help what I perceive to be some uncomfortability, right?
Yeah. Well, I definitely try to make my own jokes when I'm uncomfortable, so I could see why you would go to that method.
Right. I would mirror you and say, wait a minute, Steph's uncomfortable. I know what she does.
Yeah.
Let's make jokes and make silliness.
Yeah.
And that's not a silly topic.
I mean, it can be lighthearted, but I felt like you were making fun of me. You know, like you were like, I was the joke here.
No.
I'm like, listen to this woman think she's important. I'm like, excuse you.
I was trying to make fun of myself.
Yeah.
So then it was like, you didn't feel like there was some sort of spotlight on you. That's why I was trying to be silly about, I'm a mansplain this to you. And I was trying to turn the spotlight on me so that you could relax for a minute and not feel like the pressure to keep talking about this difficult topic.
It's not even a difficult topic, but somehow we managed to make it a difficult topic. Neither one of us have to like make the jokes here.
We're so funny, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's a non-uncomfortable topic that for some reason got really uncomfortable.
Right. Let's talk about sex.
You know what I'm
next.
going to do? I'm going to ask you to check my ass out and like when I'm uncomfortable, when I'm like, holy shit, because there's so many times, like especially with a cup. Although, like the benefit of a cup.
I think you should explain the cup.
Should
I don't think a lot of people know about the cup.
Okay, so there's free bleed, which is a healthy way, and you don't have to have any of the chemicals or anything in your body. You're just like you naturally just express.
Meaning you're not using
anything. And then there's
tampon, no pad, nothing.
There's like essentially period underwear, which is like a brief that is a pad that can be washable and but you know, it conceals the same. It acts like a pad and like wicks it away. There's pads, which is essentially a diaper that you lay in your underwear and is pretty uncomfortable. It's supposed to catch. And then there's tampons, which are a cotton tube that you insert to catch the blood inside. And then there's cups that there's many different kinds of cups. And there's also, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like a diaphragm kind of thing, but I don't know what that one is. So there's going to be ways that I'm not going over, but a cup it's a small like silicone cup, kind of like Easter egg shape in a sense that you insert and then it catches the blood inside without the risk of toxic shock. It doesn't have the chemicals. There's these really, really unhealthy agents that are put in tampons and pads and all the bleaching that some really bad shit that goes like tampons can actually kill women. If they're in there too long, they can cause toxic shock syndrome and kill you.
I remember learning that in 7th grade.
Right? So the cups they go inside, they catch it, and when it's time, you can leave it in for a lot longer. It just like holds it like the liquid, and then you take it out and you could dump it out, wash it, and go again. So when I started using cups, when I transitioned, it's been
like 4 years or something.
Yeah, I'm an avid cup user, and I'm glad our daughters are too, that they came with me on that journey. My cramps during it are less, and it's just like more healthy. I have less problems now that I use a cup. But there's no absorption with a cup. So if that baby gets like wrongful, like things, it's not like you have some leak come out. It's like my cup overflow, with which I've overflowed my cup too. And it's like, it is like Carrie.
Can I make a joke?
You can make a joke after like, do you get the scene like Carrie? Like when it's just like blood, just like.
It's the scene in The Shining.
The scene in The Shining,
when it comes around the corner.
Yeah,
and the
blood
elevator door opens up. That's what happens.
That's
if your cup is just barely loose.
Right.
It's that elevator door slowly opening and the tidal wave coming down. Yeah.
So there's less like, oh, did I leak? And more like, oh, fuck.
It's the fucking shining up in here.
I remember transitioning and, oh my gosh.
Red rum.
I was in massage school is
With
when
the
I
cup?
transitioned.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had to, for a while, wear a pad and the cup until I got, because there's a learning curve on the placement, and there's definitely getting comfortable with your body, because so much of it is like shame, don't touch, you know. So even like tampons, applicators, everything are to keep, you know. But with cup, you have to insert it inside you, and you have to like retrieve it. So you have to
Yeah.
get comfortable with your body and with getting blood on you, which is something that they are like, this is the most, you know.
How fun. I'm not saying funny. It's like fascinating that that's what society has done, right?
Yeah.
Made this thing. So even the women that are
Their own bodies.
right, experiencing it, going through it, like all of it is still so like shrouded with shame.
There's a lot of women that are changing this, and there's a lot of men that are also like a part of that. They're like, not all men make women feel bad or dirty or whatever. Like, you don't. There's so many times you've had enough of a conversation, but you've been able to have these conversations with me, with your daughters, even though I was like, quit making fun of me, I feel so small, I can't talk. You've done a really good job, and there are some really powerful women that are doing these healings and cleansings and like really celebrating your cycle and just like putting it out there. There's like, you can see pictures now where women are like showing their free bleed and just pictures of themselves and blood and how it's okay. There's women that even go as far as like painting their body with it. And, you know, there's so many powerful people. Maybe I should do better than just saying women.
It's okay.
Powerful, I'm sorry for that, powerful menstruators that are changing the dynamics and changing society's outlook on it. And there are powerful menstruator supporters and past menstruators, and no longer, I was definitely using terms that I should not have been using. So
You're doing great, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know better, do better, right?
So that's my take on it. It's
part of the workshop that we're in, right?
Yeah.
We're in this amazing life-changing workshop with the yoga couple. A few episodes back, Brad and Tiffany turned us on to them, and we fell in love with Matt and Ash. You're going to be hearing a lot more about them on this podcast, and with any luck, one day they'll be on the podcast. But I think it's tomorrow or the next day.
I think it's tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow.
That we get their take on it.
We do a lot more. We get their side. It sounds like a lot of information.
She wrote a book on it.
Like the blood book?
The blood book.
Yeah.
So that's going to be one of the books.
So maybe this is just the sneak peek of
it is
an episode down the road where we go into it even more.
Yeah.
I'm
maybe
truthfully, I'm
next
really
episode.
fascinated at the level of awareness that you and I have had lately in regards to the moon even. And I mean, for myself personally, it's like, I've always loved the moon, but yeah, I mean, we could go on and on and on about all this new stuff that we're learning, and the astrological stuff that you've been learning, and all the astrology. And
I loved what you said the other day. You're like, have I just been oblivious? Why keep squeaking on something? Or have you always cycled with the moon? And it was just so cool, like your awareness and how you said it. And it was just like, you weren't like, it was an awe thing.
Yeah.
Like you were like celebrating me and my cycle.
yeah.
That was really cool.
And it's like, from that perspective, when I say I want to know, it's like, I just want more information for a bunch of different reasons, partially because I find it fascinating, right? And I feel like every time I learn something about you and your body and your experience on this planet, it helps me understand more about mine. It helps me see the mirror of my experience, right? And there's going to be so much, I think, that we just continually get to explore and learn, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm also excited to learn about excuse me, my hormonal flow and process.
Because guys also have a
Right.
process.
And
We
I'm
very much have a process.
super unaware of that.
Yeah.
Totally unaware of that. And so I'm excited to learn.
Yeah, I am too.
I think it's going to be really beneficial.
I'm excited as well.
So more to come. Should we switch it up?
Yes, we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not like full space to continue, right? I'm not.
I'm good with switching it up.
Okay. Craig has had, once again, epiphanies. Let's see where I can start with this. Steph and I are shadow workers. That's what we do for a living. What do you guys do for that? We shadow work. What does that mean? Well, basically just all the shit that you don't ever want to look at or deal with. That's our specialty. But we've been doing immense shadow work, both individually for our own stuff, as well as our relationship shadows and the things that we've gone through since we've been together. And it's amazing, and it's beautiful, and it's healing. And along the way, the mirror thing, we keep coming back to this. We had last week's episode, we talked about, our son and how beautiful he mirrors for us. And again today, before we recorded today, we had some more. We're not going to go into it because it's kind of fresh and it's a lot of emotion. And but we're having all these really beautiful experiences. And we also talked last week, or whenever that episode was, last episode, about the masculine and feminine, right? And we thought we had that one figured out, and we thought we were spot on, that we were kind of swapping, but in reality, we had new awareness about that too, that I kind of don't even want to get into because it's confusing enough for us. We don't want to confuse you out there listening even more. But
we do such a good job explaining.
Yeah, we do.
I'm pretty sure our listeners can write an essay on a cup now. So.
This was the conversation that you try to have with your teenage son or daughter about periods. They're like, what are we talking about? Sorry, I'm lost. Who's painting themselves in blood?
Right?
What's going on?
Which is a beautiful thing, by the way.
Yeah, but we've had a lot of awareness of stuff, and it's really cool. And the mirror thing has been really fascinating to me. And I keep looking at it kind of from all different angles and perspectives, where it's not just you and me, and it's not just our children, but I'm looking at it from that perspective of everybody I encounter. And it's not even just the people, right? Not humans that I encounter, but I think about Angel, our beautiful dog, and how she mirrors for us.
Oh, she does.
And I think about Mother Nature and the universe and, big to little, all the things that mirror for us.
Thank you for that awareness.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Thinking about our willow tree.
Exactly. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, we have a beautiful tree in our backyard that almost died last year.
Yeah.
And it hung on, and it needs some love, and we're going to love it back this year while we can. And but yeah, I think if you start looking for it and really open up your mind and get curious about it, and I've never done that before. I've always known about it kind of after our spiritual woke up back in 20-whatever. And people have talked about it. And I mean, goodness, there's so much information about this concept and this idea, but I've never really have dived into it. I've just kind of took it from the surface perspective of, we mirror for each other.
Yeah.
But I've never really looked at it as much as I'm looking at it now.
I'm with you. I have not either.
The other day, one of a buddy of mine, Matt Nadeau, who's a stud, and he was on an earlier episode back in the day. I saw a post of his where he was talking about getting frustrated with social media and having to take a break from it because it just seems like everything is division and, everybody's arguing, and it's always it's that opposition. It's the push and pull. It's the struggle inside where, not inside. It's the when you see that division in social media, then we start to think that that's what the world looks like. And the world is so divided and so at odds with itself, right? Mm-hmm. So I started to think about that concept because I could relate to that. I remember going through lots of periods of time where I'm just like, fucking social media, dude.
Right.
Instagram's dry. You know, it's like every time I get on Facebook, all I see is people arguing and bitching and moaning about this and just so much contention and frustration and all of that stuff that we all have seen and kind of experienced and that we also get told a lot, right? By social media as well as by media outside of, even though everything's social media nowadays, right?
Right.
Because that's the narrative that we're fed. And so that's what we think, right? They're feeding us this narrative. And then we're like, well, that's not true. But then it keeps being reiterated over and over and over again as we continue to scroll. And no matter where you're going, right? If I'm on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, it's like you just see all of this,
Yeah.
and it makes you feel so,
Like,
right?
I won't even get on Twitter.
Exactly.
I gave that a shot for a little bit and it was,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I started to think about it.
okay. What do you,
And these algorithms that they've created, and by they, right, whoever, the social media people, and the algorithm, we all know, like if you watch The Social Network, not The Social Network, that's the Zuckerberg movie. Social Dilemma?
Social Dilemma.
Is that the
Yeah,
Netflix
what's the other
doc?
one you said? Social Dilemma is the Netflix one. What's
Okay,
one did you
Social
say?
Network. That was the movie they made about Facebook
Oh,
with Jesse.
I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah. There was a movie about Facebook and I was like,
Oh, it's an Aaron Sorkin movie.
hard pass. Yeah,
Aaron Sorkin did West
Call
Wing.
me out. Did West Wing. Okay.
So you might like it because it's super West Wingy.
Yeah.
Everything Aaron Sorkin does is just an extension of West Wing.
Okay. I also don't.
Okay. Anyways,
Yeah. Move on.
these algorithms that they have created are designed to basically collect your information across all platforms, whether it's Google, whether it's Facebook. Just literally, once you open up your phone and you start consuming, they gather all of that information to feed you more of what you're consuming. So that's the focus of the algorithm, right?
Yes. Keep you engaged.
We all know that. Keep showing you what is going to keep you engaged.
Yes.
So my theory,
Your theory. I'm ready for it.
and I'm implementing it.
Okay.
So it's working.
Okay.
The idea is let that algorithm work for you
Okay.
and let social media work for you.
Okay.
So if you start to see division and you start to get frustrated and you start to think the world is a miserable place full of a bunch of angry people and it's doomed, and then slow down and ask yourself, how is that mirroring what I might be feeling inside? How is that showing me perhaps what my own thoughts are, or perhaps what I am? Is there some division inside of me? Am I struggling against two opposing forces in some way inside of myself?
Okay.
And the thing is, like, as I started to think about this concept, it was very clear to me that over the course of whatever, the last 5 years, 6 years, I have been at such odds with myself. It's this push-pull of, I need to do better, I'm failing. I'm healing, I'm not. I'm succeeding, I'm miserable. It's this constant struggle back and forth with inside of myself in some way that social media is just mirroring for me, because I have that internal struggle, and so I'm going to seek that out in some way, shape, or form to feed the narrative that is going on inside, right? So I've started to literally, you know this because I'm your partner and you see me every day and we've been doing amazing work together. I'm changing.
You are.
And that division inside of me is fading. And I'm feeling happy. And I'm feeling loving towards myself. And I'm feeling loving towards the world and the people in it. And I'm making all of these shifts both internally as well as my external actions Suddenly, my social media feed starting to look pretty happy. Right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a lot of Ram Dass and Good News Network, and I'm gravitating towards the things that make me feel better as opposed to the things that make me feel worse. So it's not social media's fault, right?
Oh,
I'm not saying they're not at fault, right? This is the silver lining, I think.
Yeah.
And I think this is the hack.
Yeah.
I think this is how we turn it all on its head. Right?
So if you have an algorithm that makes you happy, that is a reflection.
The algorithm is indifferent.
Okay. So if your feed, which is your algorithm, I think, if you have a positive feed, then you are. I like my feed.
Do you?
I have a good feed.
Do you?
There's
Then why don't you consume it?
Why don't I consume it? Because of do you really want me to answer that?
No.
Okay. Like, fuck.
I know why you don't consume it. Yeah, sorry. That's a trigger question.
That's a little like, woof.
But do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Where it's like, it's the thing that's going to help you look at your shadow if you use it that way. Mm-hmm. And it's like everything else, right? What did oh shoot, I think Matt of the yoga couple said this, like, I don't know, who knows? This is somewhere in the zeitgeist of my brain. Like somebody's medicine, one person's medicine is another person's poison.
And one person's poison is another person's medicine. That was Matt.
And so it's like, for me right now, what's up? Did you get something?
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you get?
I got a really sweet message from you.
Did you get a message?
I did.
What's the message say?
I did everything right today.
Oh my goodness. You did do everything right today, Steph. You nailed it all day long.
Aww.
This is one of the things that, once again, like I said, we're going to get lots of Matt and Ash tips on the podcast because they're spectacular. And I've started scheduling text messages to both of us at random times of just positive affirmations, just things that we're doing great, right? We're successful, and amazing. And so it's like, I'm going to keep doing that.
I love that. And I love that you taught me how to schedule messages, because I've like figured it out. Like, I've sent the wrong one and I accidentally, like, anyways, I'm messing it up, but I'm practicing, so it's okay. But so that's like something that I get to, I did everything right today. But as you were saying that, I just caught myself like, and how good that made me feel. And what you were saying, I was over here and I'm like, I realized I'm like doing compressions.
Are you doing CPR on your heart?
On it's a heart.
Oh, goodness.
I'm like, somehow, like, metaphorically, I'm hearing, because I'm like, why? I haven't done that once. I'm over here like, it's like somehow that was like reviving me.
Yeah.
And so I like I don't want to play it. That can't be my it can't be anymore. Not after that. I mean, I'm grateful. Like, that's a metaphor of like, oh, that was like bringing me back, and how like fueling and feeling and loving that is.
Yeah.
But also now I have associations, so it has to go over there.
Nothing wrong with loving your heart.
No, it's not the association.
Okay.
But you're right. There's nothing wrong with loving your heart.
So back to the AI algorithm, social media being
okay. Okay. Yes.
Doesn't the concept and idea kind of make sense?
I just got a message from Duolingo and it said, "You're falling behind."
See?
How is that? That's funny.
Right? The duality.
Yeah, the duality. You're like, you're doing everything right. You're actually falling behind.
And look at what's going on
Duolingo.
inside of you.
I am feeling that that pull that I don't want to have to uninstall Duolingo, but if it's going to be me.
You know, I had the same awareness. We were talking about.
That's funny.
It is funny when you think about it that way, right? Like, it's all about perspective.
Right?
So if we use that algorithm to our benefit rather than thinking it's the problem, right? It's so easy. Think about this, Steph. How easy is it to stay inside of yourself and be like, it's everybody else's problem?
Yeah.
It's social media. It's the algorithm. It's big government. We're
big
always
pharma.
Projecting
Pretty sure
outwards,
it is big pharma's fault.
right? All this projection of these are all these problems that if they could fix all this shit, my life would be better.
I'm holding firm on that one.
Right? Now, this isn't eliminating responsibility of all of those things that need to be fixed, but it's the mindset inside. It's the carrying that around inside of yourself. That's the mirror.
That is the mirror.
Right?
That
Stop
is the mirror.
projecting all of those things outward and look inward.
Look inward.
Allow those things to be that mirror for you.
Are you a projector? Are you a mask?
Right? And then start looking at like, what I don't feel good.
Yeah.
You know, I feel uncomfortable. This stuff is not, this stuff is making me feel uneasy or, you know, bogging me down, or, you know, social media brings me down. I got to get off social media.
Also, it's okay to get off social media, right?
Yes. I'm feeling like
No, I'm sorry.
this wasn't like,
I'm not doing a good job. I'm doing the jokey things.
this isn't a matter of you not doing a good job.
No, you don't need to make me feel better. I just have awareness of I'm trying to keep it light like you were doing.
Yeah. This
And
is
how
important to me.
unhelpful that was.
I think this could be a really important thing that people could use.
Okay. You have my full attention.
Because the idea of this is an addiction. We all know this. I'm holding up my cell phone. If you don't watch us on YouTube, and if you don't watch us on YouTube, then go watch us on YouTube so that we can feed your addiction. Now, yes, we should all set these things down and stop looking at social media. We all know that. But that's not doing us any good, right? That's the parent that's shaming you. That's the narrative inside of our head. That's the whole thing of like, here I go again, right? You fucking loser on your fucking phone, right? You know, you can't even, and then, so rather than beat ourselves up with that narrative, flip it. Use it
Help me.
to your benefit.
Yeah. How?
By utilizing the fact that it will show you what you're looking at, right? And if you're realizing that your feed is negative, and if your feed is full of division, and if it's really bogging you down, and you're getting really like, oh, my goodness, the state of the world is so shitty. And it's pretty shitty right now. Nobody's disputing that right now, society, culture, the world, we have some massive issues because all of us have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
There is so much that is going on inside each individual person, and nobody wants to deal with it.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to look at it. We want to make it Facebook's problem, or Big Pharma's problem, or the government, or whatever it is.
Okay.
But the reality is, all of that stuff is just mirroring how much stuff is inside of us that needs to be looked at and addressed. The level of unhealthiness, the things that we're eating, consuming, thinking, doing to each other. It's a world of hurt people hurting each other.
Yeah.
And we want to blame the other person so that we don't have to look at ourselves.
Okay.
So we have a hack now that's going to help.
The mirror is like your awareness. It's
Exactly.
It's your secret weapon. And
Exactly.
not a weapon, but like how they would say that's your secret. It's your magic potion. Now you have
Exactly.
this trick. You can see it. So what happens when you
take
have
the
that
poison
awareness?
and make it your medicine.
How? What's what's a
So
like
it's
how have you been doing that? What's a practical first step? You have the awareness, and what do you do next? Now you can see like this is a reflection of me and how I'm feeling and how I am perceiving the world and how I'm presenting to the world.
exactly.
And so I can see that now. I have awareness. And I'm now making a conscious decision. Like I see it is what it is.
So
now I want to make a change. So
I'm
what?
going to talk about you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm in that like style of communication where I'm like, yeah. Right. I'm already at the end.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to use some examples for you as well as for me.
Perfect.
And only in an effort, not to attack, just to help these people out there.
Yeah, like what's some practical tools?
So you hide,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
That's partially why you don't like getting on social media. You don't post anything, but you want to look.
Sometimes,
right? But
I'll
how many,
look.
there's so many people that do that, right? Where they're just on social media to look,
observe.
right? They're the people that don't post anything. Very rarely will they even like something, right? I bet you that the vast majority of active users on social media are that type of user.
Okay.
Where they're just there watching. So
learning.
Maybe, but also maybe not fully stepping into their life. Right. Also not wanting to be seen. Also afraid to show up.
Afraid of being offensive or saying something wrong.
Exactly. Afraid of
doing
being
something
judged.
wrong. Being
all of
judged.
This stuff.
Not measuring up, judging themselves.
All of that.
All of that.
So there's a mirror. Okay. Do I have that going on inside of myself?
Are you asking me personally? Or are you like, is that just a question?
That's kind of a question, rhetorical, right?
Okay.
If you're one of those people, there's no judgment here, right? If you're one of those people that just is ghosting around, watching everything, but not engaging, and maybe every now and then, and you never post anything.
I'll be vulnerable here that I can absolutely see that in myself. Like that is absolutely like that.
Right? So then it's the opportunity to
I'm also
look.
in a healing phase too.
Yeah.
So.
And that's okay.
So you have an opportunity to look.
And that's just one example of how we can use that as a mirror.
Okay. Do you have another one? I mean, that was a good one, but I can definitely relate to that. Do you have another one? And you're right. I think you're on to something.
If you find yourself irritable and you're driving in traffic, yelling at everybody, and you're always pissed off, and like everybody's always, you can't go to the grocery store without complaining about the cashier, or, maybe your partner's always like, you're kind of like, if you find yourself moving through life really angrily and like so tense all the time, and it seems like everybody's always pissing you off, and you're like, what's the problem with this world? Everybody's always, those type of people. What's your feed look like? Right? I'm pretty sure it's not a bunch of puppy dogs, cats, and flowers. Your feed's probably a lot of that type of stuff. Maybe you're one of those people that likes to watch car crashes or fails, epic fails, right? Fails are so funny. What are fails? Fails are people getting fucked up and hurt.
Yeah.
Right? That's not funny.
No. Goodness.
All of that kind of stuff.
The watching people shame, like the other side.
Yes.
That like they're dumb.
Yes.
They're wrong. We're right.
How many people have made like, millions of subscribers on YouTube at making fun of other people on a video?
Yeah. That's
what
like the most common niche out there.
Right?
Is shaming somebody else.
Yes. And so many, it
doesn't.
This is so hard for me to talk about in some regards, because I can hear the peanut gallery in my head that's like, well, you don't think things are funny? Things can't be funny? Like you're opposed to comedy? Like everything's got to be serious all the time, Craig? It's got to be spiritual shit every day? Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, there are things that...
Otherwise, like, I don't think any of that stuff is funny.
Yeah.
Have I laughed at it? Have I gotten off on those, those type, yeah.
I've laughed at the fails. I haven't had that perspective. Like there's definitely fails that have made me feel like sick and like, oh my gosh.
Right.
But I laugh so hard. The ones like, this is my shadow here and like my awareness to look on. The ones that make me laugh like the hardest are when men like rack themselves or like get hit with a baseball on the balls or like some, like when
you think those are the funniest?
Those like when guys, I know what that says. I didn't have awareness of that till this conversation, but when men are literally, hey, try not to shame me here. I'm like being vulnerable. I mean, you can actually shame me, but like, that's like when I see that, especially when it's like this big, like boom, and like they get taken out.
Right.
But it's the same too. If they're just playing catch with their kid and the kid like whacks them with the baseball bat, I laugh so hard.
Yeah.
So hard. So that is definitely a reflection that I'm like, you took one down. And like, I didn't have like, that's a hard admitter. And I can see that.
I've started to look, because I've started to look at what I'm consuming, and I've started to see how it's a reflection of what I'm feeling.
Okay.
So that's kind of just the entry point.
I love that. What am I viewing? What I'm viewing is a reflection of how I'm feeling.
What you're consuming.
Because
it's not just the visuals of
that's
social
really
media.
Cool.
Right. Start getting curious about that concept of what I'm consuming is a reflection of how I'm feeling. And then just explore it. And if you find yourself one day feeling happy, and then you go to social media and you feel sad, or if you find yourself sad one day and you go to social media and it just makes you sadder, or if you're angry, all of these emotions that we feel inside, I think are being reflected back to us by our social media feeds, because what is the algorithm doing? It's just showing us what we want to see. It's just keeping us engaged. And it learns exactly what we're looking for.
Right.
And what do we look for? So there's a part of like, you and I have learned, and we knew this already, and this is like, you and I, like, however we want to look at it, you and I gravitated towards each other because we were going to mirror everything that needed to be healed in the other person, right? My healing came through you. We didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And we,
As did mine.
damn near
That came from you.
ran this thing off the rails permanently because of how hard that was.
Yeah.
But if that's the way that you move into a relationship, or if that's the way that you start looking at life, where this is where my healing is, if I really, really get honest about how I'm feeling. So if you're consuming media that makes you feel like crap, or if you start to think that social media is only feeding you crap and it's their fault, it may just be mirroring what you're feeling inside. You might feel like a piece of crap.
Okay.
Or you might feel immense division inside of yourself.
Okay. I'm like taking a real, first of all, thank you for getting my attention and like letting me know that this was important to you.
Yeah, not just a silly conversation.
Yeah,
about
I thought
social
like
media.
this was a topic that you're like, here, and I want to talk and reflect on this. And I thought it was like a banter, and you're like, hey, this is important. You're not taking it seriously. Like, thank you for communicating that.
Well, because the thing that kind of, I've been doing this subconsciously, I think, over the last few weeks, months, whatever. And then Matt Nadeau, I love this dude.
Yeah.
Totally love Matt. And I like Matt's stuff. Like, I like consuming Matt's content because it makes me feel good. And then suddenly he posts something about how, he's taking a break, or he did take a break from, so it's like, because he's feeling all this, discontent, and like, it seems like it's all this opposition. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, every time I see Matt's stuff, I think he's in this, and I know that it's not true to life, right? It's not like Matt's living this amazing, beautiful life. I know he's got stuff he's going through, of course, like everybody else, but it really sparked my mind because he seems like a really happy guy.
Yeah.
So then I started to think, oh, maybe he's got some real struggle internally that he's going through, and it's just being mirrored. So then I started to think about him a little bit more, and kind of, now, I mean, I love him, and I know that it's not like I know everything about Matt Nadeau, right? But I know the guy a little bit, and I can feel that tension inside of him if I think about it from the times that him and I have been together and that we've spent some time together. But it's also, he's mirroring that in me too, right? And it's like just that simple thing of, if it seems like there's nothing but division and war, right? Back and forth. I think that's your signal to look inside at what is your tension. What is the internal war that's taking place inside of you? What are the two opposing things that you're trying to make fit, right? So many times we have this stuff inside of us that it's like the this and the that. I'll be happy when this and that.
Oh, happy when, yeah.
Right? I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when. I've got these two things that I'm trying to make fit together in my life, and they don't.
Yeah.
And it's keeping me stuck. I can't be happy because I'm an addict. I can't be happy because, my relationship has failed. All this stuff. And it's always this internal struggle.
Yeah.
But then we see it reflected to us by what we're consuming.
Okay.
So then the consumption becomes the teacher. The consumption becomes the mirror. Social media becomes the thing that we can use to drive
whatever
us.
Platforms, right?
Exactly.
Right? Because like you said, what you were consuming
Exactly.
is a reflection of how I'm feeling.
Exactly.
That was such like
think about your mom consuming news all the time, right? She thinks the world's coming to an end.
Luckily, she stopped watching the news.
And what happened? She got a little bit happier. Started to realize that maybe the world wasn't coming to an end. But everybody, has that aspect, right?
Yeah.
If you sit there and watch CNN.
But then it's like that flip. So help me understand this one, because it also comes, it's like you watch the news and you're depressed, you're fearful.
Yes.
It's just like perpetuating actually is the correct word, the propaganda and the fear control based theory. But if you don't watch it, then you're ignorant, you're oblivious, you don't care, you're selfish. So like, yeah, I'm ready for it. What do you got here?
What do you have right now, Steph?
What do I have?
What did you just describe?
I described a double bind. the
two opposing forces trying
what you were
to
literally
fit.
just describing.
Exactly.
And I'm like, what is this? And you're like, I
Exactly.
just showed you.
Exactly. You just beautifully outlined, and we come to the
I'm like,
conclusion
I don't
of
think
this
so.
episode.
What's this?
You're like, wait a minute. If I stop watching the news, then my head's in the
I
sand.
don't watch. I'm having a hard time not watching the news.
Right?
Because everything that is going on with Ukraine and just like the world and what is,
Yeah.
I am afraid, and I feel like I am being just irresponsible and naive and selfish.
Almost
And
like you're not doing your part.
I'm not only not doing my part, but I'm not being aware enough to protect my family or to
Right.
do so many different things here. And I'm like, I don't know what to believe or who to believe.
Right.
And I'm choosing to just not. I am like, and it's not that I don't care, but I don't know what benefit watching all of this destruction is
So
bringing.
whose narrative is that?
I don't know, because I don't even know what my narrative is
I
with
think
it.
that's societal.
And then like Asher will ask us questions, and I'm like, I don't know.
So
I don't know. You also point out that I hide. So is that what I'm doing? It's just like, oh, that looks
Head in the sand.
scary. I'm just gonna.
So I think
Look.
that thing that you're describing, because I feel the same thing where it's
Yeah.
like, I need to do my part as a human on this
Something
planet.
like what is happening is horrible.
Right. If we don't look at it, then we're not doing anything about
And
it.
that's like systemic racism. If you don't look at it, you're not doing it. You got to look at it.
So
They need, like, you have to look.
the problem is that I see, right, because when the war broke out in Ukraine, like literally that day when that was on the news, I got curious and I Googled armed conflicts.
That's right. I remember you saying that.
And so much is
Everywhere.
going on that isn't being covered.
Yeah.
So if you Google just armed conflicts currently taking place, like wars actively happening in 2022, you'll realize that there's a lot more than just Ukraine right now.
Yeah, but
And thousands of people are being killed, like literally, right? In Africa, in other parts of the world that get little to no media coverage at all, right? So then I started to think, why are they showing us this war in Ukraine?
exactly. But also, like, I want to hear that. But also, just because they're only showing us one, which is this whole thing that we need to get into, because that's not okay. But it doesn't mean not to look. Or like, it's just because, do you know what I'm?
I do, yeah.
So go back to your, like, why are they only showing us this one? Because that's important too.
That will be a whole other episode.
Okay.
Because I think that I saw a commercial the other day that was like, do you remember the Sarah McLachlan,
The doggies.
the dogs, and you need to save the dogs, and
Eyes of the Angel.
the animal shelters, and they show the
Arms of the Angel.
right. They had basically the exact same commercial. Now, granted, it didn't have a Sarah McLachlan song on it, but that exact same type of commercial for the war in Ukraine.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And I was sitting there and I was watching it, and I'm like, this commercial feels, first off, it's a commercial. What's a commercial trying to do? Sell you something. Period. And I'm like, this commercial seems like it's trying to sell me something. What's it trying to sell me? It's trying to guilt me into sending money to donate to this crucial cause of feeding the people. No, I'm not minimizing that experience. That's happening.
Okay,
And
like
that's
I was
real.
like, I feel like.
Hold on, please. This is important.
Okay.
I'm not minimizing that.
Okay.
That's a legitimate thing that is happening, and
Yeah.
it's shitty as hell. And that's like all of those things are very, very much taking place. But you and I both know that there's people that capitalize on war and make money off of it.
That is true. A lot.
And they will convert and flip and construe, and they will pull on those heartstrings in order to make money off of it.
Yeah. And then 10 cents to the dollar at the most goes.
At the most.
At the most.
Right. We know that a lot of foundations and a lot of organizations
Are
that claim to,
profits.
right? That claim
Profit
to
driven.
aren't.
Multi-million
And then I thought
CEOs.
about all those armed conflicts and wars that were taking place in Africa that I've never seen a commercial for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Right?
Never.
Not all the celebrities in Hollywood have. Now, Ashton Kutcher and Mila, it's amazing that they've been able to. Have you seen that where they.
She's from the Ukraine.
She is. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not discrediting it. It's
Okay.
amazing. How come we're not doing that for other things? Right? More people have died in armed conflicts in other parts of the country, other parts of the world in the year 2022 than have in Ukraine. So if it's about life and it's about protecting life and it's about saving people, we're not really looking at the full picture. We're looking at the picture that is being fed to us.
Okay.
We're only being shown this one thing, right? Because of why, Steph? In my mind, it's for money.
It's probably
That's a whole other rabbit hole,
it's
right?
probably like I can feel your passion, and I'm torn between two things right here. I'm like, you are absolutely right. It is for money. It is because like, what is there to offer? We're not seeing if there isn't something to gain by helping,
Right?
they won't help.
Or what
So
type of people get helped?
White people get helped.
White people.
So I absolutely like, so it's my two opposing forces here. Like that's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's people need help
Yeah.
across the board.
Yeah.
Like, let's see the rise up. And that also like kind of triggers the all or nothing mentality in me. Like, just because you can't help everybody doesn't mean you shouldn't help anybody.
Right. So
I'm like, I'm pulled. So I guess the conflict in me here, because this is very like two opposing forces here. It's like, that's not okay. Like, I didn't even think to Google armed conflicts right now, wars happening right now.
Yeah.
Like the information, like I didn't even think to.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't fed to me, I didn't think to say, well, what else is happening? If I haven't seen it on the news, what else is happening? I didn't think to take that step further and look. So shame on me for that. We all need to be taking that step further, like you did. And
just because I Googled something doesn't mean I like saved the world.
You opened the door. Okay. You got out of this and what is being fed and said, I'm curious and I'm looking beyond what I'm seeing. I'm looking beyond what they're showing me. And that is huge.
That's what 2020 did.
Okay.
Sorry, continue.
No, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And more needs to be done across the boards.
Yeah.
And I still think helping is helping.
I totally agree.
So I'm like thrown because it's not okay. We can't just like the fact that they're helping, white people or whatever they can get resources from and then claim that they're helping when they're not. They're just like scavenging and pirating all the resources and claiming that they're helping. And then as soon as it doesn't, anyways, all these things.
Yeah. It's weird that a lot of heroin came from Afghanistan, where we were at war for probably still, right? We still have troops in Afghanistan. It's really crazy that a lot of heroin comes from Afghanistan and that suddenly that's where we're going to go to war.
Right. So it's resources. It's always like
it's money.
Benefit.
It's just money.
So what?
It's just money. And that's why they don't cover the war in Africa or the wars, right? Africa's a continent, right? There's countries and I'm not super educated and I can educate myself on those things.
You started that like, and there's conflict. It's like, I know there's conflict there.
Right.
But I didn't like have that I didn't.
Yeah, in my mind,
it was so.
like we hear about the warlords in Africa, and we hear about the famine, and we hear about the hunger, and we hear about the wells, and we hear about all this stuff going in Africa and all this stuff that needs to be helped.
And then it's just like,
but yet we don't do anything about it. Right? And I'm not saying there's a lot of people that do really good things. There's a lot of organizations that are doing legitimate.
There are a lot of humanitarian efforts that are going down, and
all of that stuff is super
work
beneficial.
for clean water and sex trafficking and like freedom, like liberators. There are.
So it all comes back to where I was starting at.
Okay.
All of this stuff that we're talking about.
They're not getting national coverage.
All of these things, all of these issues, all of these problems, sex trafficking, war, everybody just money hungry. All of this stuff that's going on is my mirror.
Is your mirror. And my mirror is to like, as soon as like, I'm like, oh yeah, I do have awareness of all this. And it's like, it's coming up and I'm immediately bogged down.
So think
and
about
looking away.
Well, think about, you and I are doing a lot of shadow work right now. And sometimes it feels so overwhelming because there's so much shit that we have to go through.
It's so helpless.
That what do we do?
Shut down.
Shut down. Don't look at it. Don't
It's
deal
helpless.
with it.
It's a surrender. It's a giving up.
Giving up. It's too much. It's overwhelm.
Helpless.
The universe is too big. Right? I can't grasp the concept of how all of these things are taking place, or I have all of this inner turmoil that seems like it's going to kill me.
Yeah.
So rather than look at it and really sit in the sorrow of it and the sadness, right? We don't look.
So what's your
And we go
solution?
to our social media feed and we
and
look
then
at
see it all
fails.
reflecting.
Well, but we don't, because we're blinding ourselves. So my solution.
Yeah. What's your
and
solution?
it's just mine, right?
Yeah,
it's just for me. It's not to say it's for you or anybody else out there listening, but, and it's something that I've heard, obviously, right?
Okay.
You got to do your own work.
Yeah. And that feels
What does that trigger inside of you?
selfish, oblivion, not doing anything but caring about yourself.
Which is the narrative that you've been fed.
Yeah. Like if everybody was doing their own work, this would not be happening. If everybody was doing their own work,
we wouldn't have hurting people.
We wouldn't have that.
We have a bunch of healed people healing people.
So you're like, what can I do? That is like literally your part.
That's where you start. That's where we all have to start. Because all of these issues need attention.
Yeah.
But there's so many of us and there's so many issues that I can't fix all of them. Right?
And I say, well, who can you control? What can you control?
You can only control yourself.
Only control yourself.
Start that internal work, that inner work. Go inside and start dealing with all of your own stuff. And if you need help finding it, lucky for you, you got mirrors everywhere you look.
Right.
Everywhere
You're gonna
you
find
look,
it.
you got mirrors. Right? That's what I think.
That's really.
And I think that the little hack of using that algorithm and that AI as a silver lining, as a hack, right? I'm going to flip this on its head, and turns out social media, you're actually healing me instead of poisoning me, right? YouTube, you're actually educating me and healing me.
YouTube's my friend.
Right? Instead of poisoning me. Because that's all it's going to do is show you what you want to see. And whatever's happening inside of you is what you're going to look for. Because who's going to heal me the most? The thing that I'm attracted to. That's the lesson we learned, right?
Yeah.
Where am I going to find my greatest healing? It's the thing that I'm attracted to. This amazingly beautiful brunette woman that walks into my life. She's going to offer me my greatest healing because I'm attracted to her. She's got what I need to heal. So whatever you're looking at actually has what you need to heal. What you consume. What's the thing Craig's going to turn into a meme next week?
What you are consuming is a reflection of how you are feeling.
Bam. I love you.
How's that? That was so good.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Energy's Love Podcast. If you are brand new to the episodes or brand new to our podcast, thank you. We love you. You're awesome. If you're a long-time listener, should we shout out our new #1 fan?
I think we should.
So we have a new number. For the longest time, over the course of the history of the podcast, we got to explain it.
Do we?
Yeah. Stephanie and I created a character named Barb. And Barb was our number one fan. And Barb was a fictional person that we would just talk about periodically, as sometimes we would talk directly to Barb. Sometimes it would be, old Barb tuned in, or
Meanwhile, she
Barb's
just
gonna
slammed
like
her
this
beer
episode.
bottle down and was like, fictional character.
Right.
Excuse
Poor
me.
Barb in Michigan is all
You don't
upset.
see me anymore.
But we have a new number one fan.
Yeah, we do. And this person's real.
Yes,
And we are very grateful.
Yes, this person is not fictional. This person is real. And our new number one fan from henceforth is Pepsi. Right?
Hi, Pepsi.
Yeah. Pepsi, you're our number one fan. We love you.
Thank you for your support.
We appreciate you and all the support that
We're
you
very
give to the
grateful for you.
podcast. And you'll definitely get talked to on the future episodes as our number one fan. Shout out to Pepsi. Everybody else as well. Thank you for listening. Go follow us everywhere. We're putting out love.
Love, love, love.
Love, love, love.
That is our mission.
That's our mission. We're love warriors. We're here to spread love in all the capacity that we have. So if you come consume our media, it's hopefully just going to drive you back into your heart and help you find your path to your love. And